Resistance, resistance, resistance. We can't ask for peace. We have to make that happen. That's just what I'm about. Right? So, as we start this off, I want to get into the brother Queenzflip. Right? Now, me personally, when I came home, right, Queenzflip, he was doing the car thing, driving with his son and all of that. So that's how I came across him. If other people know him, they know him their own way. Right? Now, I became a supporter when he was doing, the what do you call it? The Bloods and, that in New York. So anybody who knows me knows that, you know, um I'm not really affiliated necessarily with New York City Bloods, although I ran with many of them, you know, um, you know, but I always been East Side Pain. So anybody who knows me know, I knew a lot of the people, especially Shaquell, right? So I'm saying that because this is how I came to know Queen's Flip through these shows, right? So me as I'm watching his shows, I'm like, okay, and I started engaging with him. Like as far as like he would do certain live shows and I would be there and say certain things, but I felt like he was being annoyed, you know what I'm saying, by the things that I was saying. So, I kind of fell back. I wasn't saying nothing bad. Don't think I was like getting at him, anything like that. I was just talking a lot of the Freemason stuff, and I think he was just looking at it like, what the hell is he talking about? Like he'd be saying something, and then I'll say that. So like he be, I just think he was like looking at it like, the fuck is he talking about? So from that, I just fell back. So I was no longer a a follower in the sense of getting notifications, meaning that if he popped up, I would watch him, and things of that nature. But as far as getting the notifications, anything like, nah, I no longer was subscribed to that due to the fact. Hold on, let me put my politics as usual. I really was getting into this fast. So I didn't even take the time to even, this old York gritty, you know what I'm saying? Check out, my book Streets of Kelsey. I'm not here for that. So I'm really not gonna promote any of that. You see it right there. If you interested, you interested. I'm really here in support of, Queen's Flip's daughter. So I'm just saying that it wasn't. This is not like somebody who follows Queen Flip and just a supporter, and nah. I actually came across the video, like I said, because I wasn't getting notifications because I didn't, no longer notify because I'm a type of person that if I got something to say, I'm gonna say it. So to not be annoying, I just fell back. I was like, nah, let me fall back and, let the brother do his numbers. You know what I mean? Without him wondering, who the hell is this idiot right here? you know, constantly talking this Freemason stuff. You know what I mean? So I fell back on the grounds of that, right? Not anything else, not no conflicts, or anything. Not because he changed it. Nothing. It was just really me. You know what I mean? Not wanting to force something or an understanding, on anybody. Let's get that clear. So it's not somebody just jumping out the window. Oh yeah, I'm this great Queens Flip guy, and nah, don't know him like that. Really, every once in a while I'll go back in and catch shows, but usually when they already aired. I try not to deal with any live shows, anything like that. Anyway, right? So today when I looked at a show of his daughter, his youngest son, and his oldest son got arrested, right? Me, I'm like, what? Because I seen the title. It says, put in cuffs. I think it was put in cuffs, after being called the N word. So automatically, I'm tuned in. You know what I'm saying? I'm tuned in. So I'm watching this show and I'm like, damn, you know, here go a time of the Buffalo, the shooting. We got these so-called white supremacists. I think that I don't use white supremacy. I don't believe in it. It's not in my mind. I don't see none of them above me. And that's the first thing I try to erase from people thinking. It's like just even saying that you're giving them a sense of authority. I won't give it to them. You know what I mean? So, but the racist rhetoric still lives on, right? So, I'm sitting there going, here go a girl, talking about CKKK, right? Me automatically, I'm like, yeah, I would have checked her too, you know? Then the girl, from what I'm understanding, I don't want to, paraphrase or anything like that, but I really not gonna, pull up the video or anything. So I'm gonna just go off of my memory, right? Now my memory is, his daughter approached her. It's just an older girl, mind you. His daughter is only 12. From my understanding, the other girl was like 16. So it's like a 4 year difference in them. She's the younger one. So this bigger person is approaching them as if she's this bully, right? And she's standing on this white supremacy. His daughter, rightfully, approached her. Like I said, this is a time of, you know, George Floyd. This has never not been a time. Let me say that. There's never been a time where we are not supposed to, like, be on point. There's never been a time of relaxation. So I'm not saying like, oh, right now. I've always been this way. And this is why I support her. Because me as a youth, I tell people all the time I knew Corey Wise. We actually went to school together. This is one of the Central Park joggers. Matter of fact, when it happened, people was approaching me the next day thinking that I had got caught up in the Wilden event. Because people knew me for that. And at that time, I was in Stevenson High School. I was just allowed back into public school. I was literally kicked out of public school from the fourth grade, or should I say the fifth grade, because I did the fourth grade. So from the fifth grade to the ninth grade, I wasn't in public school. My first high school was a 600 school, right? And so with that, I'm saying is I used to do whole bunch of juxing and all of that. I was a sticker kid, but I wasn't against my people. So at this time, I never even once, robbed a black person. It was always white people. Let me get that shit straight. You know what I'm saying? Because, I came up in an era of Roots and all, and Public Enemy and, these groups. As you know, I did a little, how they killed the revolution, you know, um, well, I was giving you these different songs. I couldn't complete it. I would have still been doing it to this day, actually, if it wasn't for me not knowing how to get the clearance for, the songs. You know what I mean? Because these songs were instrumental to me, but, streaming and, putting other people's music and all, I didn't know none of that. So I still got a flag actually on my, they told me I'm good because it was the only flag. So, because it is, I really, until I learn how to do it correctly, I stop doing it. Nonetheless, with that being said, is why my mentality automatically goes to supporting her. She's 12 years old and is very aware politically of who she is, her identity. Me, I'm a supporter of these type of people. man or woman. I don't subscribe to the you just supposed to just defend women, because I know there's a lot of dirtbag people in the world. I know there's a lot of people that will send you to your grave and will continue on like it was nothing. So you never hear me play the gender card. I don't involve myself in gender wars. I keep silent. You know what I mean? Meaning that I'm not going to tell you to go out there and do that, and I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to leave it alone. You make the right decisions, and that's that. Right? But in these situations, yes, I will tell you, defend, defend, defend. She is defending you. All of those people there, everything that she did was in defense of black people. That's just a fact. Here go a young girl, being told by a bigger girl, oh, KKK and this, that, and the third. And she approached her like, yo, are you aware of what you saying? Are you aware of your surroundings? But because she's a Jew, she has this invisible shield around her. So no matter what they do, you just gotta take it because it's gonna be put on you as anti-Semitic. You anti-Semitic if you don't even allow the one who's hiding behind this I've been abused, right? Not saying they haven't. I'm saying this individual. This individual is able to use a community, the Jewish community, for her to disrespect and violate another race of people who is going through worse than what her people went through, in my personal opinion. Not, and there's no balance. I'm not like weighing out who went through worse or more. Like, it's not that. I'm just saying at this point in time, the black plight is clearly worse, because here goes somebody who can tell you about, their struggle while coming at you and yours. She can be a Jew and yet tell you she's KKK. Make that make sense, people. You can be the person who's telling me about how they did this to your people, and because you own the TV channels and the music stations and this, you can be whatever you want to be while still being the other side. Let's get that clear. This has nothing to do with anti-Semitic, because I know plenty of Muslim people. They all from the Semitic area. Those are Semitic people. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, I know people from Turkey. I know people from all of these areas. I cannot be anti-Semitic when I'm supporting them in their plights. If you look at my videos, you see I support the Palestinians. To me, they Semitic people. You know what I'm saying? You from that area. Not because you try to break it down to whatever you want. No. All of these people, I support them in their struggles too. That's it. So with that being said, when I'm listening to Queenzflips, he's I'm not sure what he's saying at times inside of the video, because at the end it it was an understanding. To me, it sounded like an understanding for stepping away, like meaning that, this person, your daughter, she's the wrong person in the situation, because she put her hand on top of the girl who told her all of this stuff and then made this threat and promise, well, you touch me, you leaving me with no choice. She was left with no choice in that matter. You putting her in a strange situation. You trying to intimidate her and make her feel less of a person. She's showing you, I'm not backing down to that. I don't give a fuck about that. You said something, now you trying to play the victim. You put your hands on me. But again, you are the agitator in even that situation. I don't see nothing wrong with what his daughter did. Not one single thing. I commend the little brother putting in that work. I commend the cousin. C, I believe he referred to him as, right? I'm supporting him 100%. And I'm supporting JR 1000%, right? So for me, not one individual in that situation was wrong. Not one. You put that person in a situation for them to approach it the way they did. That's just a fact. You leaving people in a situation and then you trying to play the victim. You have to be the victim then. Well, then you just gonna have to cry and said I did whatever I did to you, and we gonna face it just like that. You have all of the witnesses and none of that matter, then I'm not here for those people. If the cops won't even respond, they telling you, hey, no, because this girl got injured and so what? She asked for those injuries, motherfucker. And that's what we need to start understanding. People are asking for the injuries. And then you are the only one who's supposed to take this high road. There's no more high roads. There's no more me trying to be this person and beat you with this fake, Christian psychology of keep getting beat and I'ma just show you in the end. Nah. Because there's a guy going into our communities, gunning down our grandmothers and our aunts and our uncles, all of those people that were shot in Buffalo. I'm not gonna say all, but 90%, because I believe it was only one person under the 50 age mark. Those are mothers and grandmothers and fathers and grandfathers who died and got killed. And you gonna come here and tell this young girl who has so much pride in herself that you KKK? Well, you be KKK on your fucking time. Because on our time, it's that time. It's a time to defend yourself. It's a time to not let nobody push you down mentally or physically. So if you thinking that is oppression just comes to a physical form, no, this young girl understood. You're not gonna oppress me mentally as well. You're not gonna tell me that you KKK and I'm supposed to be afraid of that. You're not gonna say you KKK and our community is supposed to just let that ride. They came and showed you. Nobody cares about that KKK shit. Especially when you a Jew. So you not only disrespected your people in an attempt to disrespect our people. Your community is supposed to come up right now and apologize. She is supposed to be reprimanded to the utmost, even if it wasn't by the law. Your people, when you got at Nick Cannon and all of these people, you on Whoopi Goldberg and everybody is supposed to bow down and go through these punishments and sanctions and all. Nah, man, that girl got what she deserved. She got exactly what she deserved. Actually, she was supposed to get more because she was supposed to get the cuffs put on her, and it was supposed to be a hate crime. Not the one who's defending themselves of the hate crime. You don't go to the person defending themselves of the hate crime and tell them that they are the criminal. Then that's when you get people like me. Well, fuck it. I'll be the criminal then. I have no care or concern of how you judge me after that point. I'm with the runaway slaves. So it doesn't matter to me either way. Your opinion of me does not hold more weight than my opinion of how my people are supposed to be treated. Moses killed a man because he was defending his people. And then he came back and he freed them. Lamech defended himself and said, yo, listen, if Cain can be forgiven, I should be forgiven sevenfold. You cannot tell a righteous person anything that's gonna deterrent them from being just that. You cannot teach a black person how to love themselves and then try to convince them anything other than defending that is up for debate, because it's not. There's no conversation in what you thinking. We're about to take a break in a second, right? But think about that. You want to tell the people when they can be upset, but only how much, based on who. There's no limit to defending your people. Y'all came over there and because a little 10-year-old was trying to defend their sister, you put your hands on a 10-year-old. What about that? He defending his sister. What was he supposed to do? Be back. Right? Here's my logic. I'm going to defend me and my people even against my own people. Right? So, I went to prison, and people can go, oh yeah, but you went to jail for XYZ, and that wasn't white people. Yeah, but the people who I went to jail for had white mentalities, right? I did 2 bids, right? My son's mother, I don't know if you can see this, right? Stabbed me up. See right here? This one is, if you know, I'm righty. So all of these are defensive wounds, right? See right there? Right here? This one was actually coming from my face. It was, I had to block it like this, right? I didn't press charges on her, right? Didn't press charges, but then when the person after that attack tried to assault me again, I defended myself and I went to jail, right? have to live with that. I don't You don't see me never bashing females, right? People won't see me just jumping to anybody's aid, and so they'll think, oh, he must hate. No, no. I just know that we have a group of people within our community who is not for the community, right? And I'm not blind to them, but I am extremely, I mean, extremely aware of those who are for the people. And I'm going to support them 110%. So you don't see me on here making these gender things. You don't supporting Kevin Samuels or not supporting him, or I don't, because I know that those are divisions that I really don't have time for. My times of getting incarcerated were in defense of either me or the people that I know. My first time going to jail was because somebody made a phone call, black people, right? And threatened the lives of me and other people within that residency. What was we supposed to do, right? I ate it. I went to jail. My homeboy, rest in peace. You know, we got incarcerated together. I took all the weight. I said, nah, he had nothing to do with it, right? Went to jail. This is in 92. So I was already, banging. I went to jail on that whole, understanding. Right? So my peoples, but like I said, I wasn't banging, New York City. There wasn't even none at this time. Right? After I came home, then I guess, dude started up, and me and my peoples was already doing this out in the Bronx. Right? So when I got extradited back up to New York, I was in college at this time. People know my story, who know. I think I did little shows here and there where I talked about certain things, but I never really got into it because I don't like people to misconstrue the story. They don't know what you've been in spite of. And inside of that, I'm not going to act like there's a saintly way. Yeah, I was in the streets. I did my best not to get rich off of the streets. But I also wasn't going to give my time and energy to the devil. So inside of that dilemma of, being in the streets and people assuming that once you in the streets, you gotta have conflicts with your own people. Most people who know me will tell you, nah, he really tries to avoid any conflict, but he will put that work in if you try me. Right? I'm not the type of person that's gonna go, oh, just because a person is black, that's what that you get a pass. I know that that's not logical. Smooth streaming as such viewers will experience. Okay, I'm getting a message on my YouTube. It's saying that my streaming it's saying that it's poor. Okay. Anyway, if it's poor, hopefully as because I'm looking at it, so I don't know what's going on, but it's telling me that my status is poor. But it's probably just due to the fact of what I'm talking about. Right? So I'm not going to stop. I'm going to just keep going. If anything, I'm streaming on, a few platforms. And if I have to, I'll take it down on the live stream and upload it again. Either way. All right. So the point that I'm making is yes, I'm not a saint by the sense of, those who say we black on black every time, a white situation comes up. So to the what about black on black crimes? They try to throw me in that, right? Not to say that it wasn't a time when it wasn't me. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not gonna act like, it was an periods in my life where I was just not annoyed with, the bullshit of our people, while at the same time, like I said, not trying to extremely benefit off of it. So I'm not known for hanging on certain streets, and I'm known for hanging on all blocks. I was running through the whole damn city. I know people in 4 out of the 5 boroughs. Wow, I mean, to the point where I'm running through all of these places like that. Up into, let me say, 9/7, right? Because after 9/7, that's when I kind of really just left New York. Meaning I was keep coming back, but it wasn't home no more. It was where I was visiting. So I've been in 2 prison riots in 2 different states. New York, I went from a medium to Attica. From that was in New York. In Connecticut, I didn't even make it to. I just was in reception and wound up getting sent to maximum prison, right, McDougal, and then from then I wound up um going to what do you call it, Northern, which is a supermax, right. I've been for over 2 years. I've been on 23-1 lockdown, being handcuffed to go to the showers, all of that, while being inside there and beefing with the people that I'm supposed to be affiliated with. That's to show you how much I was not with it. I was not with it. I'm not with the lying to the people. I'm not with the conflict amongst the people. And people would think, well, yeah, but wasn't you claiming, there's these gangs and this, to a degree, of, you know, um, being able to operate in a system, right, or operate against one system. One would have to know how to operate in another. Now, in dealing with the streets, you have to basically move in a certain way, or you're right. You will always be pulled in to those conflicts, right? Because of imagery, of what they believe. And so, those type of things. But for the most part, people would tell you, I stay to myself. I didn't, should I go OT? I wrote Dolo. I become a part of the community. You know what I mean? So if anything, I'm beefing with people in that community, but not because I'm a foreigner, but because most likely I've embraced the people in that community. Right? I never went nowhere with this, oh, I'm from New York, oh, word up, yo, I can't be touched. And nah, that's a foolish logic that got many people murdered. So I don't subscribe to that. Right? Now back to what I was saying. I'm just telling you me. So if just for the record, it's like you want somebody to know that, listen, don't confuse me with, this saintly figure. So maybe that's why I support her. You know what I'm saying? Because, I'm not a Christian. I don't subscribe to turn any other cheek from my people or anybody else. You know? I don't subscribe that for any of us. On our side, we need to leave alone a lot of, the dangling carrot in front of our face. We need to leave that alone. And once we do that, we as a people will unify. So when I do my shows, it's always with understanding of who's the enemy and who's our friends. And inside of that, inside of who's our friends or who we perceive as our friends, we must know who's our enemy and who's our allies. Who's fighting with us on our side, within our community. Some people are just fighting for, a gold chain. Some red bottom shoes and stuff. Those are not my allies. I've never been impressed by labels. So those are not my allies. In fact, we always have a conflict because I don't want to subscribe to that. I've lost people that I've held dearly because of that same thing. He just don't care. He doesn't want to, he no. I understand. So I started doing these shows to explain just that. Who's our enemies? How are they using the tactics to keep us separated? So when I see this young lady, I think, Angela Davis, Asada Shakur, Queen Nzinga. I just think of people who are not fucking having it. I think of Nanny, the Jamaicans. I think of so many, powerful women who are willing to go to war alongside those who are willing to defend them. Her little brother was willing to defend her. Her bigger brother willing to defend her because she was defending all of them. Even when the bigger brother wasn't even there, she still defended him. You said you KKK? Yeah, I'm defending everybody because your presence is a disturbance to us. Once you said you KKK, I don't give a fuck if you turn around and say, I'm a Jew or anything else. That shit don't matter. How could it matter? You said you KKK. The Boston shooting just happened. I'm not saying Boston. I don't know why I keep saying Boston. Buffalo shooting. Sorry, brothers, and to the family up in Buffalo. Right? So you cannot expect this young girl, young lady, she a woman. In her mind, she's willing at 12 years old. That's a woman. And I'm going to respect her as such. She deserves all the praises. She went to battle for somebody who tried to hide behind one thing, being a Jew, while defending a racist system. She said she KKK. So my question is what was she supposed to do? You gotta ask yourself that. What was she supposed to do? Was she supposed to just walk away and act like that's nothing when she has so much self awareness? She is aware of the situation in front of her. She's aware of the history behind her. And she's not willing to make that her future. What more do you need? Somebody who's not willing to have that in their future is your savior. She's saving you, and you don't even know it. She's willing to fight for a future that you can't see because you so conditioned to accepting it. You willing to accept the future that's already present. You willing to accept this. You willing to accept where you are at now. So that's your future. She's not. She's not willing to have that future. And somebody with that strong will is my ally. So I'm putting it on the line that anything that she says, she needs her own podcast in a few years, and I'm gonna be like a subscriber. I will get notifications for her. Not to say I don't have anything against Queenzflips. Trust me. It's just that, when you say certain things and you like as a person is reading it, like I can show you the clips, like he be having this like, what the hell is he talking about? You know what I'm saying? And at that time I wasn't really I don't even think I even had my podcast up. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was probably just some like, viewed as this idiot, you know what I'm saying, keep talking about certain things. You know, I gave my insight on, like I said, Shaquille and, those situations. But it was when he was doing like the live shows. I forgot, I think it was like the Quiet Room or something like that. And so from that I just said, I'm a fall back. I don't want to be the dude who's just, and it wasn't just with him. And like I said, it was with, in rap groups, like them hip hop groups and stuff like that on Facebook. I'd be like, yeah, this is this, and people, you could, like, you could tell in the writing of what somebody is saying, what they're not saying. You know what I'm saying? So, even from that, I kind of like stepped away from even informing anybody, of what, I saw as our people going through, and the traps and all of those stuff. So, for me, it was that. It wasn't nothing to do with the brother. Like, he personally never said, yo, listen, get the he never said nothing. He just, looking at her like, yeah, like, who the hell is this dude type of thing. You know what I mean? So I respected it, and I was like, he's dealing with a group of people, who I don't think they really care about that stuff. They there for the gang banging and all of that stuff. So that's why I fell back. You know what I mean? Like, I came out of a community. I know that community well. They don't even want to know that those gangs were started up by the Freemasons and all of that. They don't want to know that. When you say that to them, and like, you know what I mean? So I just put the videos up, showed it. Whoever approves of it, approves of it. Whoever doesn't, doesn't. Right? But like I said, I don't play the gender war. I'm not a superhero. I don't, jump in the way of any and every person just because of their gender or no. But when I see purity in anybody, I'm a defend it 100%. You know what I mean? That was the purest form of love for her people that she could show. She did everything that I can ever imagine to be respected in my eyes. In my eyes, I cannot identify anything that is not respected. I can't identify anything in her little brother that doesn't make him like one of the truest warriors to come out that's going to exist in this world. I can't imagine, a brother, JR, his older son, not being the greatest leaders of our people. I can't not see this not happening. And so with that, I have to commend him. He told his son, yo, you go out there and So you got to respect all of them. You know, he let his son know I'm not disappointed in you. Pat you on the back. It was not an ignorant act. You know, he might say, yeah, for him, being on a safe side, yeah, that was no, brother. You did exactly everything right. Just up until you said that for me. This is your own parent, you parent your own way. It's not for me, right? For me, I just step back when I hear well, she shouldn't put her hands on her. That's the only disagreement I have, because when we have a problem in our community, the first thing that is said is, "You better pick something up." You do right. You understand that, because you said if somebody hit your sister, you better go out there. So this is the same teachings that we know. Just because it turns out to be some little Jewish people, that should not change the narrative. All right. So I'm gonna end this show. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, this is all in support of Queenzflips' daughter, his son, his youngest son, the cousin, and Queenzflip at the end. But this goes down the line. The daughter, the youngest son, the cousin, the older brother, and then Queenzflip. That's the soldier family right there. If y'all not supporting this, you don't support nothing. Yusef Hawkins, man, think about these people. Our support must remain the same. I'm out. Peace and resistance.